is surface area or surface properties. So many physical and chemical properties of material depends on its surface properties. So due to increased surface area, the nanomaterials possess greater surface energy and are different from atoms or molecules in the bulk of the material. So what they are telling? So first property what we are studying is surface area. Surface area, in that many physical and chemical properties of a material depends on the surface material. That is, the properties like chemical activity, chemical reactivity also increases due to the surface area. Okay, so if you increase the area of the material, then it will increase the catalytic activity also, and also chemical reactivity. So what is the first property we are studying? That is surface area. Many physical and chemical properties of a material depends on its surface properties. So what are the properties will depend? As I said, chemical activity, gas absorption, chemical reactivity also depends on the surface area. Next, so I think first point is clear. We are studying the properties of nanomaterial. First thing we have studied the surface area. Okay. So next point is electrical properties. So electrical properties depend on the number of free electrons. Okay. Electrical properties depends on number of free electrons. At the nanoscale, a single electron can alter the potential of the materials and can give electrical property. In case of nanomaterials, energy levels are discrete. That means energy levels are not uniform. It will be discrete due to decrease in number of atoms. So therefore, the metal loses its conducting property and behave as semiconductor or non-conductor. Okay. So I will just repeat the electrical property. Electrical property is depending on the number of free electrons which is present on the material. So yeah, how many number of free electrons are available? Depending on that, electrical property will be working. That is, smaller particle size increases the resistivity. If the size of the particle is very less, then resistivity will be more. That's what they are telling. Okay, electrical property depends on the number of free electrons. So if the number of free electrons is more, then resistivity will be less. So smaller particle size you have taken, then it will increases the resistivity. Okay. So the second point you have understood, that is the electrical property. Is the optical properties. So nanomaterial shows peculiar optical properties when it is interacted with light. Okay, so the discrete electronic states permit the absorption or emission of light of specific wavelength. So that is the optical properties. That means optical properties will be, it will show peculiar optical properties when it is interacted with light. So optical properties, what? Nanomaterial shows peculiar optical properties when it is interacted with light. The discrete electronic states permit the absorption or emission of light of specific wavelength. Hence, nanomaterial exhibit unique color when compared with bulk material. So, and nanomaterials will be having a unique color when you compare with the bulk material. So that is due to the optical properties. Okay. So next property is, there is some example also. Silicon bulk material is white in color, but nano silicon is red in color. Okay, so example for that is a silicon bulk material is white in color. Silicon, both are silicon only, but bulk material is white in color, whereas the nano silicon is red in color. Next, thermal properties. The decrease in size increases the surface energy. That means the size is less, then it will increase the surface energy and decreases the melting point. This is because surface atoms require less energy to move because of their contact with less number of atoms for the substance. So thermal property, if you want to explain, there are so many properties under thermal, that is heat capacity, thermal expansion, thermal conductivity, and thermal stress. In share, wait 1 second. Yes, you can see the screen. That is nanotechnology. First thing is have given the introduction. What is a nano? Nano means which is originated from Greek word, that is dwarf. A nanometer is 1 billionth of a meter. That is 10 to the power of minus 9. It is very tiny, and only the length of 10 hydrogen atoms are about 100 thousands of the width of a hair. Just imagine what is the size of the nanomaterial. And definition they have given here, it is manipulation of atoms or molecules to produce devices, structures, or systems having at least one superior character property. Materials having at least one dimension in the nanoscale are called as nanomaterials. So then this is just introduction of nanomaterials. Coming to the properties, just now I have discussed that physical and chemical properties of nanomaterials are significantly different from those of single atoms or molecules and bulk material of the same chemical composition. So what the first size dependent properties we have discussed just now. First thing is I discussed what is the surface area. What is the surface area? First thing, surface property I have discussed. Surface property is the surface of the area of the nanomaterial increases. Therefore, the properties like catalytic activity, chemical reactivity also increases. If you increase the area of the nanomaterial, what happens? Some properties also will increase automatically. That is catalytic activity and chemical reactivity. So second property what we have discussed, we discussed about the electrical property. Electrical property is depending on the number of free electrons. That is, a single electron can also alter the potential of materials and can give electrical property. So you just electrical property means what you should tell, it will depending on the number of free electrons. So if a single electron also alter, then the potential of the materials also it will give the electrical property. Okay. Next, optical property. Optical property means, as I said, the example silicon bulk material will be white in color and nano silicon will be in red in color. That is, nanomaterial shows peculiar optical property when reacted with light. Okay. So when if you take the nanomaterial which is having a peculiar optical property, when it reacts with light, it will show some peculiar optical property. The discrete electronic states permit the absorption and emission of light. Both absorption or emission of light will take place of specific wavelength. So that why the color will be different for bulk material and nanomaterial, because it will absorption. It will either it will absorb the light or it will going to emit the light because of specific wavelength. So only the nanomaterial will exhibit unique color when compared to bulk material. So example you can give, silicon bulk material will be white in color, whereas nano silicon is red in color. Next, property I have explained, the thermal property. Thermal property, what is that? Decrease in size. So as I said, thermal property is depending on the following thermal properties, that is heat capacity, thermal expansion, thermal conductivity, and thermal stress. So this thermal property depends on this decrease in size. If you decrease the size, it will increases the surface energy and also it will decreases the melting point. This is because, see, if the size decreases, the melting point also decreases, but the surface energy will be increasing. This is because surface atoms required less energy. Surface atoms required less energy to move. So only because of this character, they are in contact with less number of atoms for the substance. So if you take the nanomaterial, very less number of atoms will be there for the properties for the substance. So what is the thermal property? What you should explain? If you decrease in size, it will increase the surface energy and decreases the melting point. This is because what? Surface atoms require less energy to move because they are in contact with less number of atoms for the substance. I think you have understood the properties or size dependent properties. So first we have given the introduction of, we have given the introduction for what? Nanomaterial. What is the nanomaterial? What is the size of the nanomaterial? And then what is the properties of nanomaterials? There are size dependent properties. First thing is last point that I have shown in the screen display, that is catalytic properties they have written, that is nothing but surface area. Then second point is electrical properties, then optical properties, thermal properties, and catalytic properties. In detail I have explained. Surface area, what you should tell? Surface area is responsible for the remarkable changes in the physical properties of nanomaterials. Electrical properties, it is depending on number of free electrons. Optical properties, nanomaterial shows peculiar color optical properties when it is interacted with light. Then thermal properties, the decrease in size, it will decreases the melting point but increasing the surface energy. This is because surface atoms require less energy. Okay, so this is about the properties of nanomaterials. Next, coming to the synthesis, how to synthesize these nanomaterials. So there are many processes to synthesize, but in your syllabus there are three methods to synthesize the nanomaterials. First method is, I will going to discuss in today's class, that is Sol-Gel method. So there are 4 or 5 synthesis are there. First one is Sol-Gel process that we will explain now. Second process is chemical vapor condensation process. Then third process is precipitation method. You can see the display. First method is general methods of synthesis is Sol-Gel method. This is the first process, Sol-Gel process. Second method there in the syllabus is precipitation method, and the third one is chemical vapor condensation method. So there are various methods to synthesize nanomaterial, but in your syllabus only the 3 methods are available. Okay, first method is very widely used. You can see the diagram, it is very easy also. Sol-Gel process. So Sol-Gel process. So I am doing the synthesis of nanomaterial, Sol-Gel process. So what is this Sol-Gel? Why the name has given like this? So it is a very interesting topic, that is how to synthesize the nanomaterials. So first method is Sol-Gel process. So first, when you start explaining the synthesis of nanomaterials, let me give first introduction for synthesis. There are 2 types of process. One thing is top down and bottom up approaches. That is top down is the one method and bottom up is the another method. There are 2 methods are there. So bottom up is most widely used method. So there are 2 methods are there first to synthesize nanomaterial. Top to down means you can, as the name indicates, from top to down you will going to synthesize. Bottom up means from the bottom up, from bottom to up they will going to synthesize. Most widely used is bottom up approaches. This Sol-Gel method will come under bottom up approaches. Okay, you can see the first they have given general methods of synthesis. In that they have explained top-down approach refer to slicing or successive cutting of a bulk material to get nano-sized particles. Bottom-up approach refers to the build-up of a material from the bottom. That's it. So top-down approach means what? It will going to successive cutting of a bulk material. It will going to cut the bulk material. But in the case of bottom-up approaches, what they will do? They will just going to build up a material from the bottom. So most widely used method is bottom-up approaches. So salt gel also will come under bottom-up approaches, and they have given very neat diagram also. You can see here. Bottom up means what? Top down means what? Top down means they will going to just cut the successive layer. Bottom up means they will just grow from the bottom. Okay. So let me come to the topic, that is salt gel process. Salt gel process method of synthesizing nano material is very most popular method, very widely used, employed to prepare oxide materials. So what we can synthesize here by using salt gel method is oxide materials. So salt gel process I have started. It is used in the synthesis of monodispersed nanoparticles of metal oxides, which is temperature sensitive. Okay, which is temperature sensitive. Organic and inorganic hybrid materials can be done by using this salt gel process. So I will just repeat. I'm doing salt gel process. It is used in the synthesis of monodispersed nanoparticles. Monodispersed nanoparticles of metal oxides. Okay. So first, there are 3 steps are there. If you understand that, then it is very easy. You can see here also. Step 1, they are showing step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6. There are 6 steps. If you understand, it is very easy to understand the concept. So first thing is, okay, you can see here. First thing is, first step is conversion of preparation of salt. What you should do first? Preparation of salt. You can see here. This is the salt. Salt. First we should prepare the salt. Second step is conversion of salt to gel. You should convert the salt to gel. Then third step is aging of gel. Okay. AGING. Aging of gel. Okay. So first thing is you should prepare a salt. Then convert the salt to gel. Okay. Then third step is aging of the gel. Third one is whatever the solvent is there, you should remove that solvent. Okay. Then fifth step is heat treatment. You should heat the whatever the product you are giving, that you should heat it for very high temperature. So there are 6 steps. First step is, first you should prepare the salt. Salt means it is nothing but solvated metal precursor. Salt. Second step is salt to gel. You should convert whatever the salt you have taken. Here you can see converting of salt to gel. Then third step is aging of gel. Then fourth step is whatever the solvent is there, that you should remove. Then fifth point is you should heat it for very high treatment. Okay, heat treatment will be given. So I think you have understood the steps. Let me explain in detail. So these 5 things what I have displayed, that you should first write in points. These are the steps we should follow. Then you start explaining. In salt gel synthesis, either a salt, that is a metal salt, or metal alkoxide is used as a precursor. That means that is the initiator. That's it. Salt is an initiator to process the to proceed the process. First we need an initiator, right? So that initiator is what here? Salt. Salt is nothing but what I told, solvated metal or an alkoxide. That is the initiator. Next, second step. Why we need this salt as an initiator? Because to synthesize the nanomaterials, nanoparticles of metal oxides. First, a salt is prepared. First, you should prepare, that is alkoxide should be available. Then by the dispersing precursor in a solvent. So what you should do? First, a salt is prepared by dispersing precursor. Precursor, precursor in a solvent. First step what I told, convert the salt into gel. Now your preparation of salt is over. Okay. Then second step what? conversion of salt to gel. Salt is converted into a gel by how to convert this salt to gel. So how to convert the salt to gel? By hydrolysis and condensation of precursor. So you can see the reaction they have given here. MOR, this is the reaction. MOR plus H2O give rise to MOH plus ROH. That is alkoxide. This is the alkoxide. MOR is the alkoxide, metal alkoxide. When you give the solvent material, that is water, what happens? Then it will form MOH, metal hydroxide will be formed. It is undergoing hydrolysis, followed by this MOH. See here, this one. Under condensation, it will form MOM, that is metal oxide, metal layer will be formed. So how to convert this salt to gel? By hydrolysis of and condensation of metal oxides can be described as follows. So I will just repeat. First we should prepare a salt. How preparation of salt will be done? By dispersing the precursor in a solvent. So first step is over. Second step, conversion of salt to gel. How to do? The salt excuse me. Salt is converted into a gel by hydrolysis and condensation process. So you can see the reaction MOR, that is a metal oxide layer. When it reacts with water, it will give you, sorry. When it reacts with water, it will give you metal hydroxide layer. And this metal hydroxide layer, it will react with ROM. That is, you will going to get condensation process MOM, metal oxide layer. So next step is aging of gel, right? Aging of gel for known period of time finally condenses to nanoscale clusters of metal hydroxide. So whatever the aging of gel process you will do in a time, so that finally condenses to nanoscale materials. That is your metal hydroxide will be formed. Next, the encapsulated liquid can be removed from gel by evaporating drying. So as I said, you should do the solvent evaporation. So the sample through whatever you have obtained, it will be given the heat treatment to obtain those nanoparticles. The nanoparticles obtained from the process have a size ranging from 1 to 100 nanometer. Okay, so whatever this material you are getting after this process aging of the gel, and then whatever the solvent is there that you will going to remove by evaporating, then finally you will going to give for heat treatment, then your nanoparticle is ready. Just it is very easy process, and many times they have asked in the exam. So only 3 processes are there, 2 processes compulsory. Sol gel method, another one is vapor condensation method, and precipitation method. Only 3 processes there to synthesize the nanomaterials. So out of that, 2 question is compulsory. Sol gel process, I will just repeat. First, formation of salt. Second step, salt to gel. Third step is aging of the gel. The fourth step is solvent, removing of solvent. Fifth step is heat treatment. So very easy process. Only thing is you should explain the reaction and diagram you should draw here, and then that process you should explain in detail. So how the preparation of salt is done? By vaporizing the solvent, dispersing precursor in a solvent. Second step is conversion of salt to gel by hydrolysis and condensation. So hydrolysis, what is the process? Condensation, what is the process? You should explain by writing the equation. Then third step is remove aging of a gel. Aging of the gel will be done. Then fourth step is you should remove the solvent. Then fifth step is heat treatment. Finally, your nanomaterial is synthesized, which is having the size around 1 to 100 nanometer. So by this, I will going to stop the today's class. So tomorrow's class, I will going to take another 2 methods to synthesize the nanomaterials. That is precipitation method and chemical vapor condensation process. So I have already told you in the yesterday's class only. That test will be there for first two modules. That is, what are the first two modules? Electrochemistry, batteries, batteries, and then electrochemistry, battery, and corrosion. Please study. Objective type questions will be asking. Okay. So if you have any doubt, you can message me so that I can see on my display.